Natural Prevention for Alzheimer, Berberine Cookie, a biotechnology project of Nutracéuticos.
Neurodegenerative disease affects millions of people in the world. Only Alzheimer's disease affects between 40 and 50 people per 100,000 of inhabitants per year in Mexico. In 2015, it was estimated that the disease affected 46.8 million people worldwide, and it's expected that this figure will almost double every 20 years, reaching 74.7 million in 2030 and 131.5 million in 2050.
Alzheimer's disease is a multifactorial neurodegenerative disease that affects principally language, memory, and other thinking skills. This disease is one of the leading causes of death around the world and is associated with substantial direct and indirect costs for families and societies. Recurrently, there is no cure for Alzheimer's disease and exist only two types of drugs to treat cognitive symptoms approved by the FDA. For this,
Nutraceuticals result in a good solution to decrease neurodegenerative problems. Many of these natural molecules have been tested and analyzed to provide their positive effect in human health. Berberine, an alkaloid naturally found in plants, could be preventive on the progression of neurodegenerative diseases, including Alzheimer's.
the purpose of this work is to design a process for production of cookies that incorporates berberine to assist in the prevention of Alzheimer's effects. This work describes the process for extraction and purification of this natural compound from Argemonia mexicana. Additionally, the use of supercritical fluid extraction as green technology can potentially lower the long-term costs. Although the mechanism of action has been completely understood, it is believed that berberine affects or interrupts the mechanism of formation of amyloid plaques, affecting indirectly the amyloid precursor protein, or APP. Berberine could decrease beta and gamma secretase and inhibit the process of an amylogenic pathway, lowering the amyloid beta release and therefore the formation of amyloid plaques. The role of berberine in alpha secretase remains unclear in the non-amylogenic pathway.
As an expression system for berberine, it was selected the production of shoots using sucker explants in a temporary immersion system. This process has a survival rate of 98% and a high production of berberine of 1,392 microliters per gram. Temporary immersion system provides a better environment for the growth and proliferation of shoots. Also, this system has been successfully used for mass propagation of various plants. The stage of tissue culture is divided into several substeps. The first one consists on the decontamination of the suckers, and the second one is induction of the shoots in supplemented medium. As a pre-treatment, it is suggested drying in hot air oven at 50 Celsius degrees for 3 days and powdering with a grinder machine. For the purification, it must be performed a primary recovery through supercritical fluid extraction using CO2 with co-solvents, methanol and diethylamine, at 328 Kelvin and 35 megapascals. It can also be done by extraction with low-pressure solvent using water. The step of polish includes the perform of a spray drying to obtain powder of berberine with maltodextrin. The process must be made with inlet and outlet air temperatures of 149 Celsius degrees and 75 Celsius degrees respectively, at the speed of 28,000 revolutions per minute. The berberine powder will be mixed with the wet flour at the beginning of the process of cooking preparation.
Despite the above, berberine has shown its effects in vitro and in vivo studies. In vitro studies, neurons induced by amyloid beta peptides to promote apoptosis were treated with berberine, and the effects of this secondary metabolite was the attenuation of the cytotoxic effects of the amyloid beta peptides, suggesting that it may be a promising therapy against Alzheimer's disease. And in vivo studies where berberine has been tested, berberine has shown to improve cognitive decline in mice. In addition, the administration of berberine has been shown to prevent memory loss and anxiogenetic behavior, or anxiety, one of the most negative effects in Alzheimer's disease. And hence, berberine could be preventive on progression of neurodegenerative diseases.
The global nutraceutical market was valued around $383 billion in 2060 and is expected to reach around $561 billion by 2022 and is projected to reach $578 billion by 2025. The current consumer trend is to be preventive rather than react to the health issues. A shift in the consumer preference is from synthetic ingredients to natural and organic ingredients, foods that are obtained from non-GMO extracts. Consumers prefer the nutraceutical foods to pharmaceutical drugs. Currently in the market, the Alzheimer prevention products or tips are diet and supplements, stress management, exercise, and spiritual fitness. From all these, we found out that there are no products for Alzheimer's in the market. Talking about berberine, none of the berberine products are targeted towards Alzheimer or on a food product. That's why we think this product may be very innovative and unique in its market, since it's the only product that we will be introducing as a nutraceutical for Alzheimer. Since we already have the competitive advantage that there's no product like ours in the market, our strategy is to promote it as the first preventive food against Alzheimer's disease and start selling it at healthy stores such as the Health Aisle of HEB, GNC, Nutriza, Via Patos, and associate in social media with health feed gurus.
The strategy of Alzheimer prevention using a functional food can be industrial and economical viable. The design of a process to produce cookies that contain berberine with the purpose of avoiding 1. The accumulation of senile plaques of beta-amyloid and tau protein, 2. Neurodegenerative inflammation, and 3. Activity of acetylcholinesterase is theoretically possible. The results of the benefic activity of berberine in AD are backed with many in vivo and in vitro assays, while the physical success of the industrial process must be tested experimentally. The development of this project can be traduced in an improvement of life quality and expectancy in elderly population who are in risk of suffering this disease.